Edelbrock Performer RPM aluminum cylinder heads for a traditional Pontiac V8. I wanted to point out we did not go to a much larger gasket. It was, I would say, there were areas that were 1/8 of an inch or less from matching up. And again, this is kind of an older set of Edelbrock cylinder head castings, so I don't know if it can be categorized as poor port alignment, but they weren't all that great because they're supposed to come with a ram air 4 opening. I'm thinking these aren't exactly ram air 4, or they expect you to do a little cleanup work. We're using the Mr.Gasket number 503, which is real similar to the Edelbrock gaskets that come with these heads when you buy them. What it does is it gives you a true ram air 4 opening. It's kind of hard to show on these videos, but if you look at these two ports here on the end, you can see the crappy job Edelbrock does. Let me see if I can get you a better angle. See that bevel? Like if you look, there's blue dicum all over it. But basically, there's a little bevel, maybe 3/8 of an inch wide. But what you can't tell is that metal. See that metal in the corner? Sorry, I don't want to get too close. But if you can see that metal they leave in the corners alone, that flow restriction and that 1/8 inch, I bet that's 100 to 125 thousandths of material that needs to be removed from that area alone and blended back probably close to 2 inches into the port so that you can have a true ram air 4 gasket opening with no restrictions. Why in the world you would cast a head for a ram air 4 opening and then greatly restrict the port we're talking 1/4 inch to 3/8 inside of that what's supposed to be a ram air 4 opening. It's literally neck down, I would say 100 to 125 thousandths on the floor. On the left side of that port, there was a good 50 thousandths plus that had to be removed. Not too bad on the pushrod side of that port. Now I will point out on these Edelbrock heads, the only way you're going to be able to straight cut, I mean it's not a huge impeding port like they were on those Vortex, but let's say the right side of that port right there where your pushrod bulge, that's the hook wall on these Edelbrocks, which is not really going to be a problem. But right here is your pushrod hole, and if you look from that inside edge down into this port, if you don't tube this hole on each one of these ports, if you don't tube it, you can't straight cut that wall because you will poke through. Even the little bit of cleaning up I'm doing to them to try to straighten them a little bit, that wall is going to be, I'm going to estimate 80 thousandths thick on that inside, and that's, that's pushing it, because you start getting any core shift or thin areas and you could poke a hole in there real fast. But I just wanted to give you, I wish I'd have done my video kind of a before and after, because I've done a lot of cutting on these heads already. But I was going to show you, how poorly the ports matched up to the gasket when I first started this maneuver, and all the material that needed to be removed to get a true cross-sectional improvement right at the intake manifold. And then of course you have to carry it all the way into your port and blend it, because Tony over on Head Bites, I like his term, funnel porting does not make power. Funnel porting does not help your flow. And that's exactly what Edelbrock did. They basically on the face tell you, oh, we got the rear mirror 4 opening. But in reality, that opening just inside the head surface is probably smaller than a stock head. Now that's not to say that these heads still don't flow very well, because the bowls on these things are vastly improved over anything factory you're going to come across. Look at that. Absolutely no valve guide boss whatsoever. All you have is your valve guide impeding the center of that port on the roof side. They don't do a very good job of their bowl cut and bowl blend. That's where I'm going to come in. I'm not real worried about their exhaust side, because they've got a pretty big, if this has not been worked by someone before, because it kind of looks like someone's hit it with some kind of a, I'd say probably a stone or something in the past, because these are used heads. But somebody has done some work on this exhaust seat, because they don't usually come that big. The bowl cut on those exhaust seats don't usually come that big. So I was just going to show you. Somebody has worked that before, so I'm going to have to check their math and not hurt anything. They could have rounded that right here. Can't get my finger out of the way. The bottom of that port is sharp as a razor. They didn't blend it, smooth it, nothing. I mean, that's just a horrible, horrible casting issue that could have been easily cleaned up and smoothed at the factory, and they didn't. So anyway, I just want to give y'all a quick update on this project, because we got the other heads. Those stupid Vortec heads ended up needing a crack repaired, so we got them dropped off at one machine shop, who has to in turn take it to a second machine shop, who actually has the better setup for pinning. That's like putting pins, metal pins, in overlapping succession, kind of like a weld, to fix a crack right in between the intake and exhaust seats. But that's a whole different video and different story. But, I mean, just look at the work I've done. This one port right here is just darn near done as far as the intake, or the, gasket match and blend. But look at the floor. Flat. That's what you want. Flat. Blends seamlessly into the port. A little bit more, the inside wall will clean up with the sanding rolls. But you want it to be straight cut. Straight cut and flat. Blend seamlessly into your port. Still got that little hook wall, but like I said, unless you're willing to do the work to tube that push rod hole, don't get crazy. Don't start cutting too far into that, because it looks like you could take a lot out until you stand up and look down. When you look at that hole and how it lines up with that left side of that port, don't go there, or you're going to be welding. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little update on these Edelbrock heads and give you an idea of what they're gonna look like, and trying to improve them. I think these Edelbrock heads, they're rated, I want to say 275 CFM flow. Right now, I'm confident I'm going to be able to get 300, probably 300 or so out of them, maybe around 310. But we'll get them slicked out, get everything gasket matched and blended the way it should have been from the factory. I have no idea what Edelbrock does or why. Anyway, there's an update on those Edelbrock heads. I should be able to get them done this week. If not, I'll probably get them done by next weekend. Depends on my kids' schedule and what all we got to do this weekend. So, anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Keep watching the channel. I'll try to get some more videos up on head porting and updates on the Vortec 4.3 600 horsepower build. because everything is still in process, and as usual we just come across errors and in situations we got to repair or replace, and we're going to keep working and try to make some horsepower. Thank you.